my lovelies. I am Maggie, and I'm so grateful you're joining me here. When you do get a moment, please hit subscribe, hit like, and I would really love if you would drop comments. Okay, so what we're doing here, we are doing the magic of everyday life with Maria Szepes. And we're doing a nice slow crawl through the book to see if there's any nuggets that might be helping us in our lives in such a time as this. So here we go. We're going Maria Szepes' introduction, and we're on page 10. I will begin, first of all, with a precise definition of the generally misunderstood, maligned, and superstitiously condemned concept of magic. Magic in reality means power. The magic power of the imagination manifesting in form. So for all of us Neville Goddards, we all know our imagination is our Christ-like consciousness, and we need that imagination to manifest into form in positive and healthy ways. So back to this. And if magic power in itself feels somewhat foreign to you, I refer you to the recognition by modern medical science that acknowledges most illness, including organic problems, to be psychosomatic, neurological, in origin, beginning from the most part with certain ideas about or fear of supposed illness. As for example, phobias about cancer, choking, agoraphobia, the obviously stress-related diseases such as goiter, diabetes, colitis, certain heart problems, stomach ulcers, blood pressure fluctuations, and allergies of untraceable origin that I could go on endlessly. So I just want to, side note here, I just want to say that what you're experiencing, I honor that. But I'm also wanting to tell you that a lot of times disease goes far deeper than just, what they're telling you. So I also want to say, for instance, like in mold illness, like Dr. Shoemaker's protocol, if you have a problem with mold, please go to Surviving Mold website to look up Dr. Shoemaker's work, because you won't heal unless you get out of the environment. Like, you can't be treated until you're removed from the water damaged building or whatever it is that caused your sickness. Well, I want to also encourage, if somebody is in immediate trauma or in a bad situation, you're going to want to remove yourself from that. It's not just saying it's your fault or you're this bad person and all your diseases are because you think badly. The point is, it's something that we do want to look at so we can be healthy and we can give our gift to help the world. Okay, going back. More likely, some disease manifests as a result of the defense of the unconscious and escape into illness from responsibility, abandonment, disappointment, and other psychological hurts. So we're just trying to protect ourselves, Everybody goes through good and bad times in their life, and we're all trying to escape sometimes. Every such process burgeons from a creative imagination, because imagination is a great magician. And in its lack of self-awareness, it's a black magician. The laser thrust of our feelings and thoughts irritate an organ, our nervous system, metabolism, heart, skin, glands, until one of them signals only as a symptom at first, but in the end, actually obeying the dangerous autosuggestion. So disease is dis-ease, yeah? So our organs, captive under the barrage of fears, produce an actual syndrome, a veritable masterwork of illness that affects our entire body. And through the vehicle of this book, not only as an author, as a psychologist and a character analysis, I have tried to delve into the inner reaches of the invisible root to the visible, to cause of the effects. And she did this with success. So I'm going to read that again. I have tried to delve into the inner reaches of the invisible root to visible, to the cause of the effects with success. So we are going to benefit from everything that she has to say in this book. We are going to find, the thing about teaching or learning, people get wrapped up in things, but if you take one thing away from everything you're taught and learned, you have succeeded. So I know some people think that's silly, but the bottom line is, as your life adds up, those one things mean something, and you just never know what life circumstances you're going to have. You might need it. So based on my experience and my statistics, the objective of my method is to produce the vaccine, there's that word, the antidote for injuries that have coagulated into self-tormenting phantoms, healing images to replace disease-causing ones. According to Hippocrates, where you find the poison, you'll also find the cure. Isn't that so interesting? And that's very true many times. You are not going to be able to figure out how to help somebody unless you know what they got poisoned with. You want to go look at your poison control centers? Yeah. So the intention to not infect ourselves with fear of the future, the present, our fellow human beings, inability to hold bravely to our principles, or inappropriate behavior that may cause injury, I think is a worthy human effort, especially in our tension-filled world. She's writing this, I'm sorry I don't know the exact year, but she's writing this a long time ago. Look at the world that we're in now. It's tension-filled. As is the fact that I am not merely offering words to the reader, but tried and tested medicine that I have taken myself. So listen, there's nothing more powerful to me than powerful recommendation than a doctor, a nurse practitioner, a PA, whatever you are, a nurse who has actually taken their own medicine. There's a fantastic movie out there called Doctor, and he was kind of a heartless doctor, and then he gets ill and he gets into the health system and he starts to learn more about how he treated patients, and it completely transformed him. It's a great movie. You should check it out. Everybody in healthcare should be watching that movie, because he goes from a pretty stone-hearted to this really loving, caring, wonderful doctor that helps even more people. Okay, back to this. I am not one of those, of course, who discovered the correlation between destructive, moreover deadly imagination and physical disease, or self-determined restrictive processes and practices. As early as the First World War, Professor Carl Ludwig Selig worked with healing hysterics and the surprising manifestations they created from their imagination. So Dr. Selig held that so-called hysteria was a form of creative genius that functioned without the control of direction of the conscious thought. He observed countless proof of this phenomenon, from bleeding stigmata to false pregnancies, through to the case of a man condemned to die. So this person was seated in a bathtub filled with water, his hands tied behind his back, his wrists were scratched superficially, and the water, unbeknownst to him, was gradually colored a deep red. The patient died after a while in the tub of water because he imagined he was bleeding to death. I don't really know how they were able to get away with this type of research, but I'm just saying it teaches us something. Self-destructive ideas operate in almost everyone without our calling them by name. Lack of self-confidence, fear of old age or death that crowd at the threshold of every mortal consciousness are all destructive ulcers to the spirit. we are going to clear out destructive ulcers to the spirit, okay? This is a reality that unfortunately cannot be denied. It can be seen and grasped in innumerable manifestations. Although people deflect it from themselves, they try not to talk about it and even delude themselves. And nowadays, people are heavily medicated, heavily on all these things, you know, heavily, just into, you know, zoning out in the TV, into the computer. Nothing to say, you can always enjoy. I want you to enjoy your life, but we also want to look at, like, are we numbing ourselves? So, and their condition meanwhile becomes even more worrisome. Okay, so that's what we're covering tonight, or today, wherever you are in the world. So I want to know in the comments, if you would just leave a comment, if, do you have any area that might have an ulcer in the spirit? Or is there something that you have done to help yourself heal or cope? And we're going to, as we go through this book, we're going to cover more and more and more things. So thank you so much for being with me. Please, when you get a chance, hit the subscribe button and like the videos. And I would love very much for you to leave comments. And I just really, really appreciate you. And I'm grateful for you. Big hugs. And God bless you. Peace in, peace out.